The sun will rise and set one more time before we have Auburn football. But what should fans expect when Auburn takes the field in Waco? Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us up, turn us on, we'll turn it out. I'm here with my good friend Jacob Goins. It's time to get going, on a Thursday. We have Friday night football.
Yep.
And I am excited because it means, Jacob, that we get to watch Saturday football completely stress-free. While everybody else is stressing about their team, Auburn fans will know the fate of their Auburn Tigers. As you know, I cover UCF as well. So we get Thursday night football. We get UCF tomorrow night, which is going to be a good stretch of football there for me. But Auburn's got to take the field in Waco. And look, I just did a segment recently with Taylor Davis where she talked about that offensive line. On today's show, I want to talk about offensive expectations with you. What's going to be reasonable? You and I kind of did an over-under last week, but again, I want to expound on those ideas. And then in the second half of the show, we're going to talk about what this game means to both teams. Let's start at the top here. Offensive expectations. Should it look like a well-oiled machine coming right out of the gate? What is the tolerance that fans are going to have if it takes a quarter or two to kind of pull it together? And if they have to do that, Jacob, is it going to cost them the game? Can the defense hold them in? This has not been generally a very good come-from-behind team under Hugh Freeze. I would like to see Auburn get out to a fast start in this one and hold on for dear life if they can. I do not want to see them having to sling it all over the field at the end of the game, with Jackson Arnold in his debut as an Auburn Tiger, feeling like he's got to be Superman in the fourth quarter to get the Tigers to win.
Yeah, there's a lot to break down here. And I mean, it feels like we've been talking about this game for months, and it's because we've been talking about this basically since spring practice of, okay, let's see what the team's like. And then as soon as that was over, it's like, all right, Auburn plays Baylor in the opener. And there were so many questions about what Auburn was going to be, what Baylor's going to be. And frankly, we still have some of those questions, and we won't know the answers until these two teams hit the field on Friday night in Waco. But for Auburn offensively, right, there's so much confidence in the defense, at least for me, on the rotation at the defensive line, the depth in the linebacker room, and just the dudes that are in the secondary. And they're led by DJ Durkin. So I'm not really worried about the Auburn's defense. But it's what you talked about and what we've all talked about. It's the Auburn offense. And look, I think expecting perfection in game one on the road on a Friday night against a pretty decent Baylor defense and a defensive-minded head coach in Dave Aranda, I think expecting perfection from the Auburn offense is unreasonable, just to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But Auburn fans can expect it to look good. You can expect it to look crisp. You can expect communication to be on point and receivers running the right routes and receivers not dropping footballs and hopefully good coverage from the offensive line, which is the five that are projected to start are the ones that we figured it was going to be. You can expect those types of things. Now, I think a lot of people are, of course, poking fun at Auburn because of the 3 play callers and 3 quarterbacks and all that mess. But when you wade through the drama that is, man, just look halfway decent and look like that you got better throughout spring, summer, and fall. I think that's all Auburn fans are asking for is, does Jackson Arnold look comfortable like Hugh Freeze talked about he wanted him to be? Does the offensive line create holes for the running game that I think is a little underrated, Mike, to be honest, of Damari Alston, Darrell Robinson, and then the young guys of Omar Mapson and Alvin Henderson, and Jeremiah Cobb, of course, is in there too. So does the offensive line create holes? Can Auburn move the chains on the ground, which will then open up the passing game, allow you to get the best players on the field, Auburn's receivers, get them the football and allow them to win this game for you on the road? And so Auburn fans should not expect perfection, but it should look good. I don't want to see Jackson Arnold go 3 and out on the opening drive and him and Hugh Freeze bickering on the sidelines like we saw last year with him and Peyton Thorne. I don't want to see it be the fourth quarter and Jackson Arnold look confused and not know what's going on because he's got 3 different people talking to him in his headset. I don't want to see those things. And to be quite honest with you, you shouldn't see those things. You've had plenty of time to get this thing figured out. But if Auburn is struggling to move the football or score the football or do whatever the case may be, especially with the question marks we now have in terms of the special teams game, Auburn's in trouble here. And you've got to find a way to win a game offensively rather than your defense having to make play after play after play.
I do want to talk about special teams. An interesting tidbit in Monday's presser. First I've heard of Alex McPherson maybe being questionable for Friday night. That made me nervous, Jacob. But I want to talk more about that offensive line. First, a quick word from our sponsors, our friends at Aim and Associates. Definitely want you guys to support the sponsors who support us, and that's Aim and Associates. Great sponsors. They've just come on. That's Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates. And they're working on a project for me, but these guys have been in business in almost 25 years and manage about $250 million for clients in 25 states and 2 foreign countries. Now, you might think this is some big corporate operation, but it's not. It's an Auburn family, and they provide each client with honest guidance and top-notch customer service. It's the feel of a small town, but you get years of insight, perspective, and results. Jeff, David, and Colin are great to work with. Contact Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates at 912-777-4128. Again, that's 912-777-4128, or visit their website at aiminc.com to see why they are different. You don't need millions of dollars, Jacob, to need a financial advisor. You just need a paycheck, and you need some goals for the future. And even if you don't have those goals, what those should be. I want to shout them out, certainly. They're great sponsors of the War Report. The War Report has been compensated by Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates for this endorsement. Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates are registered as investment advisors. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The information in this advertisement is for informational purposes only and should not be considered personalized investment advice. All investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Let's jump back into our conversation here. I can't just want to give one more shout out to AIM and Associates. I love working with Auburn businesses. It's one of the things I love about Auburn. Auburn people support other Auburn people. And right. So as, some Auburn graduates sponsoring some Auburn graduates, I appreciate their sponsorship, guys. The conversation costs you nothing. Please go talk to them. Look, Auburn's offensive line, Taylor said, has to be their not so secret weapon in this one, which if they can establish some dominance up front early, maybe we see Hugh Freeze ease Jackson Arnold into the game, running the ball and running maybe some things that he's comfortable with, using his athleticism, getting him out of the pocket, onto the edge, making plays. What is the most likely opening to this game, in your opinion? Is it Jackson Arnold dropping back for a deep pass, or is it, a safe play action type screen thing, something that keeps the ball on the ground and maybe just helps him get that first snap under his belt and get those jitters out?
Yeah. Are you calling for first play of the game offensively for Auburn?
Yeah. What are we going to see first play? All right. Could they take a deep shot?
I don't know.
On the first play. Does
Auburn God, I hope not. No, I hope not, man. I do. Auburn fans, if it works, they would love it, Mike. But if it doesn't work, Auburn fans are going to lose their minds because they're going to say, run the ball. That's what they're going to say. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to say. Run the ball, man. And because I think that Baylor defensive front is good. I think they've got size. But if you're Auburn, you can break through that. You've got enough backs and a good enough offensive line to wear them down over this game and make them stack the box, make them stop your running game of Damari Alston, who has to fix some fumble issues from a year ago. We know that. But make them stop DA. Make them stop Darrell Robinson. Make them stop Jeremiah Cobb on the jet sweeper if they decide to run him through the tackles. And then when they do, that's when you get it out wide. That's when you throw bubble screens. That's when you roll crossing routes. That's when you throw post routes. That's when you say, hey, Cam Coleman, go deep. We'll get it to you. We'll find you down there. But you got to do it by running the football first, because Baylor is going to let you throw the ball. Did you watch that game last year in their bowl game against LSU? LSU and Garrett Nussmeier threw it all over the yard, Mike. They threw it everywhere. Auburn can do that too. Auburn can do that too. You just got to start by running the football. So my prediction, and I guess my hope here, is that Auburn runs the football on the first offensive play of the game, but they're going to have to throw the ball to win. There's no doubt about that.
Baylor, the 9th best pass defense in the Big 12 last year. So to your point, yes, you can throw the ball on this secondary. Now, look, they've ramped up some and they've tried to fortify that secondary. So I don't expect it to be an easy prospect. But the Auburn wide receivers versus the Baylor secondary is a matchup I think Auburn should win in this one.
Mismatch.
You cannot recruit at the level that they have recruited at wide receiver and lose the matchups on the outside and in the slot. It's just can't happen. And I think the only way that happens is if the timing of the offense is off, or quarterback inaccuracy will do it, right? Or if there's not ample time to throw the ball at it, if the line plays at an average rate, and Jackson Arnold is average in accuracy in delivering the football, these wide receivers are good enough to win. Now, Hugh Freeze talked on Monday about the wide receivers just running the play as is, and but he feels like they're good enough to win those matchups when it's 50-50. They feel like it's more 80-20 with the receivers that they recruited. And on A-Day, Jacob, I got to say, man, Perry Thompson looked every bit of an 80-20 receiver. Eric Singleton Jr. has 80-20 speed. Cam Coleman, we know he's 90-10, man. When the ball's in the air, that guy will moss you from 30 feet away, man. He's good. This is a great group of guys. Malcolm Simmons flashed that athleticism. Hold on to the ball, young man, when you're crossing the goal line, and it'll be okay. I cannot wait to see this matchup. Now, before we get to our mid-roll break, there a lot of people have been telling me in our comment section, and even some expert onlookers that we talk to, I won't put their takes out there for them, but they feel like there's still a chance we see a good dose of 12 personnel in this game and in this offense this season. There feels like there's been a talent shift away from tight end to wide receiver. Seeing 12 personnel, seeing only 2 receivers on the field would be disappointing to me, even if it's half the time. I got to believe we got to see some 11. We got to see some 10, maybe even some 0 sets where you get all those guys out there and just let them run wild, man, play pitch to catch.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think 11 personnel would be fine. I don't necessarily want to see 10 personnel all that much, but I mean, if you're going 5 wide, then you go 5 wide. But yeah, 12 personnel if you need it. If that's what it takes to help you run the football or get it to a Jeremiah Cobb on a sweep or on a screen pass, or just throw it out to Cam Coleman and let him go one-on-one, that's okay. If that's what you need to do by running 12 personnel, then fine. That's good. But I've heard good things about Brandon Frazier. We know what he's going to be. And I think the tight end room is a really unique spot for Auburn, one that hasn't been there in quite some time. I mean, it's been non-existent for years, unfortunately. And now you've got 2 guys in that room that I think you could throw the football to or use them in blocking run situations or whatever the case may be. So I get what you're saying. I do. I mean, in terms of 12 personnel, I don't think you'll see it all that much. But if that's what it takes to pick up a 3rd and 1 or get a touchdown in the red zone inside the 5, then yeah, do what you got to do. But I get what you're saying on that. I do.
Look, I want to talk about the special teams in the second half of the show, and then we'll talk about other expectations for the Auburn Tigers after the break. This episode of the War Report is brought to you by our friends at SetsForSociety.ai. You can begin the journey to getting to know yourself better with Sets for Society. Their custom personality assessments give you more insight and more knowledge into how you think, how others around you think, and how you can relate to people, how people can best relate to you. The journey to knowing self better is ongoing throughout life, and SetsForSociety.ai can help you along that journey. Visit them at SetsForSociety.ai today to get your custom personality assessment started now. It costs you nothing. I've done it. I can tell you, Jacob, it nailed me. Every quirk, every strength, every weakness, everything I need to work on as a person right there in one test. So again, get started today with SetsForSociety.ai. I want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit RogueShop.com. Use code RAPPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. Visit them for all your herbal medicinal needs. If you are seeking traditional, non-traditional methods to relief in life, the Rogue Shop has a number of products that can help you, whether it's pain, again, whether you're just trying to relax, or maybe you're just trying to set the mood in the house and have better energy, right? The Rogue Shop has a lot of stuff that I found interesting, everything from scented candles to some products, some hemp products that really can improve your quality of life. So RogueShop.com, again, guys, use code RAPPORT to get 15% off. Let them know that the War Report sent you. They're putting a little something extra in for everyone who uses that code RAPPORT. Last but certainly not least, we always want to thank our friends at Golden's Cast Iron. Visit goldenscastiron.com/WR. Use code Get Your Weight Up for 15% off your weights and code TWR for $65 off fire pits and Kamado grills. The summer is here for a little bit longer. You want to be outside enjoying it. Going into September, that weather starts to get a little cooler, Jacob. You can be outside grilling on a Golden Cast Iron grill, or just staying in shape with some Golden's Cast Iron weights. I know a lot of you started working out at home during the pandemic and never went back to the gym. So it's nice to have a set of weights at home. These are lifetime products, cast iron products made to last for life. So you only have to buy it once, and then you can use it forever, and maybe even pass it down to your family members or anybody else who just wants to eat great or stay in shape. Again, work out, grill out, chill out with Golden's Cast Iron. We want to thank them for sponsoring this segment. Let's jump back in here. As I mentioned, this was the first I've heard of Alex McPherson. Maybe we've heard about how well he's been doing and recovering from his illness last year, but a question was asked by Peter of AL.com about the prospect of what does Auburn do if Alex McPherson can't go. And he kind of said that's a conversation we have to have with Alex and see how he feels. Maybe inside the 30 we put him in, or maybe we use him in certain range situations. I was a little shocked at this. I'm not gonna lie. Number one, I want this young man's health to just be good. I want him to be better, and it felt like he was getting better. But I gotta think, if you're Alex McPherson, it's probably going to take a lot to keep him out of this game. He's got to be chomping at a bit to get back in there and kick. However, you've got to do what's best for his health, because ultimately, I think that's what's going to be best for Auburn. What does Auburn do in this one on the road if you got to throw Towns out there again and he has the yips? They did a lot of things that they would not have normally done last year because they could not trust the kicking game inside the 30.
And that's the thing. I mean, you look at last year, right, because of McPherson's health, and I do want to start there. At some point, and by no means am I a medical advisor, am I inside the McPherson family or camp or whatever, but at some point you do have to do what's best for him and his health, and he's got to make that decision, right? And I know that's tough, and I can't even imagine what he's having to go through with his health and family and doctors, and what, like you said, we were being told that he was getting better, and I think that was the truth. And then having another big setback like this, I mean, I know it's frustrating, and I just hope the best for him and his family and his health. But at some point, you do have to make a decision on what your future looks like in the game of football and what your future looks like in the game of life and stuff too. And so I hope that he gets that figured out. But talking strictly football here, Mike, you look at last year, Towns Magoo was put in some really tough spots, some really, really tough spots for a kid that played here locally at Auburn High School and was the best kicker in the state, one of the best kickers in the country when he was a senior in high school. So he's got it in there. He's got the ability. He's got the mindset. He's got the confidence. He just got put in a bad spot last year. And look, it's P4 football. This is big boy football. You got to step up and deliver. Nobody's giving him a pass for it. But if that's what happens again this season, no matter what or I guess depending on what the health status is of McPherson, you've got to make that call. And if that's Friday night getting off the bus and McPherson's like, hey, I can't go, then that's what it is. But This is a road game against a P4 team on a Friday night. You can't afford to have shaky special teams on kickoffs and PATs, short field goals, long field goals. I mean, man, there's a really good chance that it comes down to a 45-yard field goal for the win. What are you going to do if you're Auburn? You have to have a game plan for that. I believe, according to the depth chart, Towns-Magoo is going to be the one handling kickoffs just because it takes a little bit more leg power and things to get the ball down the field. And yeah, maybe McPherson is your PAT guy and inside of 30 or 35 yards or something like that. And then you put Towns-Magoo out there for anything more than that. But I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But Auburn better get it figured out and figured out fast, because you're going to have to make a kick at some point, somehow, some way, if you want to beat Baylor on Friday night.
Yeah, look, score a bunch of touchdowns and only leave extra points on the board.
God. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what comes of that, or if it's anything. Maybe it's much ado about nothing. Hugh Freeze could have been just answering the hypothetical, but it did certainly sound like that there was a chance that Alex may not be able to go. Now, Auburn had a number of guys dinged up at wide receiver kind of late in the fall camp. Nothing season ending, but this appears to be a very healthy Auburn team headed into game one, which is where I want to close this segment here. Cam Coleman has got to be a star for Auburn to see the type of success and continue to build the type of program that they want to build. They've got to get him the ball. They cannot afford to say, oh, well, it wasn't there, so we didn't throw it. No, you've got to get Cam Coleman the ball. Scheme him open. I'm not saying throw bad passes up to Cam Coleman. I'm saying scheme him open. He's got to be a focal point of this offense. The same way your quarterback and your running backs are focal points of the offense, Cam Coleman has to be a guy who gets, I don't know, man, like 8 to 10 targets a game. I mean, that sounds high, like a lot, but you've got to give him his opportunities to catch the football. They did that over the last 3 or 4 games of the season. And mind you, his injury factored in, like it wasn't season ending, but he was playing a little dinged up there in the middle of the season. If he's healthy, I think Auburn needs to target him the way they targeted him over the last 3 or 4 games. In the Alabama game, we saw what happens when you just throw the ball up to him.
Yep.
Comes down with touchdowns, man. That's what he did in high school. He's right here from the crib in Phoenix City. I went to his high school games. He had one catch over the middle of the end zone where it was a good 1.5 yards behind him. Yeah. And Jacob, the body control, where he just kind of like stops all his momentum while crossing the end zone, reaches back like this and catches the ball with his hands like it's nothing. And it looks effortless. This is a guy you just have to throw the football.
I mean, he has to be wide receiver 1. Plain and simple. He has to be your go-to option. You need a catch, you go to Cam Coleman. 3rd and 7, throw it to Cam Coleman. Need a touchdown pass, go to Cam Coleman. 1st and long or 1st and 10, and you want to take a shot, go to Cam Coleman. He's going to be covered. He's going to be double covered at times, but he's good enough to break it anyway. That's where the connection between receiver and quarterback has to be on point, because what the pros do is the quarterback will throw it before the receiver's even open, because he knows he's going to be open in the next 3 to 4 seconds when he delivers that football over the top or the back pylon, front pylon at the first down mark, or whatever the case may be. That's what the pros do. Auburn's got to find a way to have that connection between Jackson Arnold and Cam Coleman, because when he's at his best and Auburn gets him the football, other than Keldrick Falk, Cam Coleman's the best player on this Auburn football team, and he has to act like it, and Auburn has to treat him as such, not just all season, but starting game 1 against the Baylor Bears.
Could not agree more, my friend. Put it on a T-shirt. Go to Cam Coleman. Need a catch? Yes. Go to Cam Coleman. Need to come back? Go to Cam Coleman. Need your taxes done? Aim Associates, and then call Cam Coleman.
That's right.
Cam Coleman,
that's right.
For all the things that ail your life, he is the answer. Jacob Goins, I want to thank you for joining me as always on this segment. We have a good time. Before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can listen Monday through Friday if you're in the Auburn, Opelika area on ESPN 106.7 or ESPNAU.com. We're on the air 2 to 4 each and every day, part of our 7 straight hours of local sports talk radio. So be sure you check it out here in Auburn, Opelika.
Guys, that's it for another great edition of the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report. Hit the comments after the video and give us your go-to Cam Coleman moment. Tell us what you think about this game. And as always, give us your score predictions. We've been asking for them all week. We want to hear from you. And while you're in the comment section, do us a favor, smash that super thanks button. Your financial support helps keep the work here going. We are the War Report on every social media platform. So hit like and subscribe. Help the channel grow. We're TW Report on TikTok. Signing off, and as always, War Eagle.